box. This is a game between Wesley So and Morteza. This is a game from the Asian Individual Championship 2007, and as the title suggests, this is the most memorable games of Wesley, and this is a part 1 of this. And I will cover all the important and memorable games of Wesley So stay tuned for more updates. And in this game, Wesley had the white pieces, and let's check out this game. So Wesley with the white pieces opens with e4. This is called king's pawn opening. Now we have d6. So after you play e4, if your opponent play this move d6, and this is called a peak defense. We have d4 now, and now knight to f6. We have knight to c3, and now g6 now. So black is just preparing bishop to g7. Now we have f4 now, and now bishop to g7. We have knight to f3, and now castles by black. Now we have bishop to d3, and now knight to a6. We have castles by white, and now even c5, just striking in the center. Wesley advances the pawn to d5. Now we have knight to c7. So black is just preparing pawn to e6 because this knight will give additional support to e6. Then queen to e1 was played in the game. Now we have e6 as planned. Now we have d captures on e6, and now f captures on e6. Now we have e5. At the same time, you can see this pawn is attacking the knight and this pawn. So in the game, Morteza played knight f to d5. Now just attacking this pawn twice, and you can see there is no defender for that. So Wesley played knight to e4, and we have knight captures on f4. We have bishop captures on f4, rook captures. Now Wesley is not sacrificing any pawn here because this knight can always capture this pawn. So we have knight captures on d6 by Wesley, and now we have knight to d5. Now we have queen to g3, now putting pressure on this rook. For the moment this knight can move. If you play knight to e7, then you will lose this rook. So that is the point. So we have queen to f8, just adding additional support to this rook. Now we have rook a to e1. Now we have knight to e7. But this is the critical position of the game, where in the game Morteza played knight to e7, but knight to e7 in this position is a blunder. So you can pause the video and find the correct move. You can find the correct move for black. And if you found this bishop to d7 move, this is just a normal move. This is just a normal minor piece developing move. If you play bishop to d7, this position is not, the white is still better in this position, because you can see this knight is a very strong piece here. This is covering all the important squares. But in this position is also playable for blacks, and you have to find this bishop to d7 move, but white is still better in this position, much better. Because after you play something bishop to d7, then white will play c4 to just attacking this knight. Now you can play this knight to e7 move, and there is no problem with that. And after knight captures on b7, now you can play rook to b8, and after knight captures on c5, then, and you can see this knight is attacking the bishop, and there is no defender, so you have to move your bishop. Then after b3, you just protect this pawn. Then after knight to c6, then knight to a4 is possible, and the game continues, and white is much better in this position. With perfect play, white will also win this game. So after this rook a to e1 move, you have to in the game knight to e7 was played, but knight to e7 is a blunder. You have to find, instead of knight to e7, you have to find this bishop to d7 idea. Now in the game, Wesley immediately played the strongest move, that is knight to g5. We have rook captures, and now knight to f5, for the moment attacking the queen. But again, you can pause the video here and find the strongest move in this position. If you found this bishop captures this knight, this is the strongest move in this position. So Wesley just captures the knight. We have g captures on f5, and again you can pause the video here and find the strongest move in this position. If you found this knight captures on a5, this is a very strong looking move, but this is not the correct move. And for the moment, you can see this pawn is protected by the queen, by this pawn, and also this bishop is giving additional support to this pawn. So the point is, in the game, if you play the knight captures on f5, this is not the strongest move. The strongest move in the game is rook captures on f5, and this is the strongest move in the game. Wesley played rook captures on f5, and after this move, Morteza just resigned the game because there is nothing to do here. The fact is, if you capture this rook, then you have to find this incredible queen to b3 with check. After queen to b3 with check, then you can play just c4, and after c4 you can prolong the game, because this is a totally winning position for white. You can prolong the game by playing bishop to e6, but instead of bishop to e6, if you wonder what if you play king to h8, after king to h8, then you will face this knight g to f7 with check, and after king to g8, then again you will face this knight to h6 with check, and you can see there is a double check from the knight and the queen. And after you play something king to h8, then you will face this knight d to f7 with check, and you can see this square is covered and there is a check from the knight. So you have to capture with the queen. There is no good move. After you capture, then knight captures with check, and after you have to play king to g8, then again knight to h6 with check. Again there is a double check from the knight and the queen, and after you play something king to h8, it does not matter what you play. If you try this move, or if you play h8, or if you play f8, then if you play f8, then queen to f7 will be checkmate, and after you play something king to h8, then queen to g8 will be checkmate. So that is the point. And instead, after this, where queen captures on c4, if you want to prolong the game, you can play this bishop to e6, but bishop to e6 is just a silly move. After this move, queen can easily capture this bishop. Then if black plays the move king to h8, then you can play this knight to g7 with check, and this is the same pattern I am showing. Then knight to h6 with check, and after king to h8, then you can play this knight to d7 with check, knight to f7 with check. You have to capture with the queen, then queen captures. And if you try in this position, if you try king to f8, then you can again in this position, this is just a possible line. Suppose this position, in this position, you can just pause the video and find the strongest move for white. This is just mating 2 idea. If you found this incredible queen to g8 with check, this is a move, and you can see you can capture the queen with the king because it is protected by the knight. So you have to play rook captures on g8. This is the only move, and after you play, then knight to f7 is just checkmate. So this is just a very, very important position. So to remember in your own games that this position might happen. So in this position, suppose this position happens in your own game, you have to play this incredible queen to g8 with check idea, and after the rook captures, then you can just play knight to f7 with checkmate. So that is the point. So in the game, after this rook captures on f5, Morteza just resigned the game. So that was the game. I hope you enjoyed that one. Again, I will show you the critical position of the game, because after this rook to a1 move, we have to play the correct move, that is the minor piece developing move, that is bishop to d7, because after bishop to d7, white is much better, but this position is also playable for black with perfect play. But in the game, knight to e7 was played, but knight to e7 is just a blunder. So that is why Morteza just loses the game. And in this position, actually, after this knight to e7 move, the strongest move is knight to g5, and in the game Wesley played knight to g5. Already I have shown you all that. So after this rook captures on f5 move, Morteza just resigned the game. So that was the game. I hope you enjoyed that one. That was a very interesting game, and this is the most memorable games of Wesley. So this is the part 1. I will also launch part 2, part 3. So stay tuned for more updates. And if you enjoy my content, then please subscribe, and thank you for watching.